Welcome back, True Seeker. Art of war. First word is art. And recall what we showed earlier this year about the bridge collapse in Baltimore on Nancy Pelosi's birthday, who's from Baltimore. Her father had the same birthday as Francis Scott Key. The Francis Scott Key Bridge came down. But we showed how that collapse, how ritualistic it was, and how it was literally partially in tribute to the Salvador Dali painting, The Broken Bridge in the Dream. And again, the ship, the Dali, took out the bridge, and it was from Singapore. And exactly 86 weeks and a day before the bridge came down on the 86th day of the year, Nancy Pelosi was shaking hands with the leader of Singapore in Singapore. And that was on Francis Scott Key's birthday, August 1st, which was also her father's birthday. And her father died at 84, and then the bridge came down on her 84th birthday, and Salvador Dali died at age 84. And again, there's just so much to the bridge collapse. We're going to go back and touch a little bit more on it. We're going to talk about how much we talk. Again, if you watch my work on the bridge collapse when it came down in Baltimore, it was the same thing we talked about when it came down in Pittsburgh 2 years earlier when Biden was in town to talk infrastructure. We're going to get to how the All-Star game tonight, the starting pitchers for the National League and American League represent Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and how it's the exact same pattern. It's crazy how they do this. But every year, sports, politics, ritual, news, scripted. We're living out some events that are planned scripts that are put in the news that are for storylines to persuade us, to make us give up billions of dollars in taxes or give up rights and liberties. Anyway, look at this, you guys. I'm going back to the bridge thing because now we're going to end up talking about literally the exact same pattern with Vincent van Gogh's self-portrait with bandaged ear, as the painting's titled. What this has to do with Donald Trump showing up at the GOP convention with a bandaged ear after supposedly narrowly avoiding an assassination. Vincent van Gogh's birthday is March 30th. And the other guy who ran on MAGA, Ronald Reagan, he survived the assassination attempt on his life, March 30th, 1981. What would have been the 128th birthday of Vincent van Gogh. And look at the title of his painting, Self-Portrait with Bandaged Ear. That's the title, right? In Gematria, self-portrait with bandaged ear equals 128. And again, about this 128 and syncing up art with news. Remember, The Broken Bridge in the Dream, the title of the Salvador Dali painting, 128. That painting, 79 years old. Bridge collapse has the gematria of 128 and 79. The World Series in 79 was Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And they got the opening pitchers for this All-Star game this year. We were just talking about how the Pittsburgh Steelers also won the Super Bowl in 79 after this shooting in Butler outside of Pittsburgh on the 79th Meridian. But look at this. If you forgot all the 128s, let me scroll down. There's a lot of information here, but we have to get down to the 128s. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Maryland has that gematria, 88 forwards, 128 in reverse, 128 in the mornings when the bridge came down. That's the 88th minute of the day. But again, bridge collapse 128, just like it came down in Pittsburgh on January 28th while Joe Biden was in town to talk infrastructure. This time it comes down in Baltimore on Nancy Pelosi's birthday. Her and Joe Biden, old Catholics in the Democratic Party, symbolic of old failing infrastructure. But it was the 128th day of Biden's age, and it was also 128 days before Francis Scott Key's birthday. And again, there's a lot more to this. But what are the odds of how they would line this up with these numbers, right? Remember, 128 in numerology is 11. 11, the master number. Master plans, master rituals. Rituals that create stories in people's heads for why we need to submit to whatever our government's asking for. We need billions more to rebuild the bridge. It's like, well, seems like something else is going on because you guys took out the bridge. Again, Key Bridge equals 86. Comes down on the 86th day of the year, 86 weeks and a day after Nancy Pelosi shakes hands with leader of Singapore. Again, Dali, like Salvador Dali, who did this painting. You see what I mean? We know, and then there's so much more to all this, but it all syncs up with the Pope and the Superior General, who are the Jesuits, who gave us the calendar, the language. the Jesuits who wrote Art of War, where it's better to, win the war by not having to fight the war and essentially just constantly tricking and deceiving your enemy. Again, if we're controlled by something that is a domestic enemy that snuck its way in and taking control of our government and it's snickering at us every day as they mock us and make fun of us and make us pay for all their mishaps that build their empire. Again, remember the just like Thomas Jefferson, who was worried about the Jesuits coming out of suppression. Thomas Jefferson, who said if this nation ever has a central bank, it'll be done for. Thomas Jefferson, who said there had to be a revolution every 19 years to preserve liberty, ends up getting killed with Adams on the same day, the 4th of July, 1826. Anyhow, coming back to the Van Gogh thing. Again, Van Gogh's birthday is the day Reagan got shot. It was the 128th birthday anniversary of Vincent Van Gogh that it happened. The portrait, the self-portrait with bandage ear. Again, Donald Trump and Reagan, so many parallels. Actors who turned politician, who both ran on mega. Reagan, who got elected 40 years ago. The shooting on the 40th parallel now. The VP nominee who'll be 40 in days. Again, Reagan was number 40. Butler, PA on the 40th parallel, 79th meridian, 79, big year for Pittsburgh. But yeah, look at this also, just the gematria of his last name, right? Van Gogh. 74. Donald Trump is tight with the Church of Satan. If you don't know this, learn the facts. Mega's the highest degree. Him and Obama had the nice joke on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, 45 days before Trump's birthday, that he would become number 45. It was more than a joke. It's just putting the truth in front of people's face. And again, for anyone offended by the idea that Trump is satanic, why don't you look up the tenets of Satanism? And all you have to read is the very first one to get the joke with Trump. The first tenet of Satanism is to worship. Is it A, Satan, or is it B, yourself? The first tenet of mainstream Satanism is to worship yourself. So anyway, 74 days after the Church of Satan's birthday, this happened. We know that's the killing number. Like the Ides of March is the 74th day of the year. Like 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4 plus a million other things. But it's also the big Jesus number. Like Trump left office at age 74, and now he's mounting a comeback. Revelation 13:3 tribute with the shooting. But Van Gogh, 38. Again, this shooting happened 38 days after the anniversary of Reagan's death and the 38 days after the anniversary of RFK being shot. Van Gogh, 115, like assassin, like killing, like Masonic, like Lucifer, like 115 days before the election on 11/5. Plus, we found out how the assassin of Theodore Roosevelt, how his surname was 115. And again, he got shot in Milwaukee where the convention is, and he was the youngest VP nominee until J.D. Vance. But Van Gogh also 25, like Trump's 25, like McKinley, the 25th president, assassinated and killed, bringing about Theodore Roosevelt. We have a parallel going on now between Roosevelt and J.D. Vance. Van Gogh was only 37 years old when he died. This shooting had a lot to do with 157, the 37th prime. The nomination of J.D. Vance came on the date that we can write 15/7. Again, the shooter's name, Thomas, which means twin. Are we going to have a twin event? Thomas. Oh, shoot. Crooks. How can I forget? Richard Nixon, the 37th president. I'm not a crook. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of his resignation, August 9th. But shooting has the gematria 37. 157's the 37th prime. Again, it's like Kobe Bryant equals 157. Bryant equals 37. Dead on the 157th day of his age on the 37th anniversary of Bear Bryant. But Van Gogh has this 37 thing, which fits in with the shooting as well. Born in 1853, a little bit interesting because Pennsylvania equals 53. Biden state. Died in the month of July, the month that this shooting thing happens. Died in France, the land of the Jesuits. Perhaps there's something to, you know what? God, you know how the 133. So right now, from his death anniversary or from the day he died until the shooting was 133 years and nearly to 134 years, which will be July 29th, International Tiger Day. But remember, president, White House, government, authority, all 133. This shooting, a span of 133 days from the JFK assassin anniversary, November 22nd, the day leaving 39 days left in the year, like Butler equals 39, like J.D. Vance picked at age 39, like Teddy Roosevelt was. Or I got to double check the Teddy Roosevelt age, but I think that's what it was. They're both about the same age when they became the VP nominee. They're the youngest ever. Teddy Roosevelt's the youngest president ever because McKinley got assassinated before his term was up. It'll be something if that does become the winning ticket, because 44 is big on this shooting as well, like in all presidential shootings in history. And J.D. Vance would turn 44 in their last year in office. Again, Trump number 45, but the 44th person to be president. When you think ear incidents, right? Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. I just had to take a look just in light of the way these people put jokes together. And Trump used to be connected to the world of boxing, having fights in his buildings. But I noticed Iron Mike just turned 58. Remember, Donald Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower for the 58th election, had a whole bunch of 58 rituals winning it. Back in the day, in the 90s, he was on Suddenly Susan on an episode on May 8th, 5-8, where he's the president. Again, Oprah, which equals 58, asked him in 88 if he'd want to be president someday, and on and on and on. But Iron Mike just turned 58. He bit the ear of Evander Holyfield. Holyfield's 61 right now, the assassin word, and the ear incident came 38 weeks and a couple days after his birthday. Again, 38, fateful number. 38 days after Reagan's death, which just has the big-time parallels too. And on the 40th parallel, Reagan, the 40th president, Evander Holyfield. And then, again, this piece right here, you guys, this piece right here, this movie that's coming out July 9th, 7-9, 7-9, just like how the shooting on the 79th Meridian, thine ears shall bleed. Again, in 1860s America, in the time of the Civil War, they're talking about how a civil war could be brewing here in the U.S. again. In 1860s America, a minister's family hears an unexplained noise from Woods. First director of the Secret Service was Woods. During their wagon journey, mistaking it for divine presence, they worship until realizing its sinister nature. Again, something evil masquerading as something good. This is a spiritual story told countless times, plus within the Bible. Donald Trump, with all the Church of Satan connections, people promoting him as Messiah. And you know what? I guess to be fair, I think even if you were an evil person, God would still try to help you out to give you a second chance. Again, this is why people don't believe in God too, because then their family gets killed in a crazy accident and they don't understand why God would ever do that. And who really does? And that's why when you're spiritual and you have faith, you sometimes you have to say, the Lord really does work in mysterious ways. But yeah, sometimes it does seem very unfair and unjust and unexplainable. Anyway, just coming back to the whole Trump thing, Church of Satan right now being associated with God and the divine, and there's been headlines for years, like rumors that he is the Jewish Messiah. Go back and look at the headlines from years ago. There's even one about how in Hebrew Gematria, how he aligns with Messiah. I mean, these are headlines they published over in Israel. So this has been going on, and I mean, right now, just we've been wondering about this again. Revelation 13:3, where the beast's head gets injured. Trump literally equals beast in Gematria. We've been talking about all this stuff forever, but this movie that's coming out just days, or wait, it just came out then. It came out July 9th, so it came out 4 days before the shooting, in the time of Cancer, the fourth sign. When Cancer equals 44, like shooting, like it happened on the 44 date numerology. The parallels to all these people that have 44s in their assassination history, including JFK, the 44th term president, the last to be assassinated. But thine ears shall bleed. I didn't even do a gematria decode on this title, so hold on. Let's just do it in real time. Thine ears shall bleed. It's written like in that old Francis Bacon, King Jamesy Bible kind of way. It's got the 109 like shooting. That's the 29th prime number like Trump. Like the shooting was 29 days after his birthday. Remember, bullseye equals 29, and Biden had just said we got to put him in the bullseye. It's got the 80 like Satan and Baphomet and Barbarian Illuminati. It's obvious it's satanic, and it's Jesuit, and it was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. 179 is the 41st prime. Again, I could say a million things about 41. The 13th prime, coming back to him under the 13 stripes in the perfect photo op. 13 weeks on the nose from the Secret Service being created into existence through the signature of Abraham Lincoln on the same day he was shot. Remember, 179, 41st prime, USA equals 41. 41 against the 13th prime, 13 stripes. Instantly the chant of USA after the shooting. USA. So, but yeah, I had to point this out with the Van Gogh, and just to run over a few other things. Great comment left. We talked about Joe Bryant, the father of Kobe Bryant, Joe Jellybean Bryant, drafted by the Warriors 41 years before Kobe retired. Dead at 69. What I didn't have this morning in my decode is what they caught. Today is National Snake Day. There's actually an article about Taylor Swift having this beef on National Snake Day. And it's funny because Taylor Swift has all those 58 connections just like Kobe. And remember, Taylor Allison Swift, 104. We just had the 104th NFL season and was Super Bowl 58 when she has both those numbers, and the whole season was tied to her. And the Super Bowl ended in a big 13 ritual for her. Kobe loses his daughter at 13. Anyway, a lot to explain, but ever since Kobe died, the Chiefs have been dominating in Super Bowls, and Mahomes won his third like Kobe was the last to three-peat. Now Mahomes has a chance to three-peat. And it's wild because from Kobe's death to the upcoming Super Bowl's 1,841 days, and Dallas was established in 1841. And again, that's where the Chiefs are originally from. They were the Dallas Texans. They moved to Kansas City the year JFK got shot in Dallas. But anyway, Kobe's dad dead at 69. That's a big Catholic Church number, just like how Kobe's death was at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, traveling from Catholic Mass. Jesuit suppression lasted 41 years, big number in the USA. Today is also the 8th anniversary of the death of Nate Thurmond. And I've been saying for years, since way before Nate Thurmond died, that LeBron, that's his father. And Nate Thurmond wore 42 for the Warriors and Cavs. Before the Warriors and Cavs ever met in the finals, we were shown why they were going to meet the year LeBron dropped his season high of 42, perfectly synced with the finals. And after the Warriors won the first finals with Cavs and Cavs won the next year on the real King James's birthday, LeBron dropped 27 points in that Game 7 on King James's birthday in his 103rd game of the season, the 27th prime, like 27 chapters or 27 books in the New Testament. And then 27 days later, Nate Thurmond dropped dead. Played for the Warriors and the Cavs, who wore 42 for both teams. Number with a long racial history, plus LeBron James equals 42. When Kobe died, they had to say he died on the 4,200 block, even though he crashed in the middle of a field. And since he died at 41, it doesn't mean he died in his 42nd year of life. But yeah, dead on National Snakes Day. And again, he's dead 4 years after Kobe. And Kobe was dead 4 years after Moses Malone. And Moses Malone was connected to winning the championship again when Kobe was 4 and doing the Nike ad for Exodus 4 with Moses and his staff turned into a snake. And then Kobe's the snake, the Black Mamba. Kobe falls to 4th in points scored the day before he dies because LeBron passed him in his hometown, Philly, with the court with the black snakes on it. I mean, and now all these years later, his father dead on National Snake Day. I mean, it's just wicked, you guys. It's wicked these people are getting away with this. LeBron wins the finals after Kobe dies at 41, 41 weeks after his own birthday on Father-Daughter Day. Now here we are on National Snake Day. And again, they got to mention LaSalle. Remember, Kobe's death was all synced up with LaSalle. I'll look. I haven't even done a deeper decode on his father, but I'm sure it's all synced up with his history at LaSalle too, just like when Kobe's passing was. Again, just reminding you who's running the show. Same people gave us the calendar. LaSalle's Catholic. But yeah, if you missed the earlier decode, look at this. Here's what happened since we did the decode this morning. You had this game early in the day in the WNBA, the Storm versus the Sparks, right? Look at the score at halftime, 41-37. Kobe Bryant, 41. Bryant, 37. Dead on the 37th anniversary of Bear Bryant, age 41, right? Look how Seattle Storm has the gematria of 41 and 157, just like Kobe Bryant, who died on the 157th day of his age, which again is the 37th prime. Los Angeles has that 37. But think about Joe Bryant's announced dead early this morning, meaning his last full day of life was yesterday, 15/7. which went with the thing they did in Milwaukee. By the way, Milwaukee equals 37, shooting 37. The Teddy Roosevelt, J.D. Vance tribute, going with what happened over the weekend, 157 days for the Pope's birthday. When again, Thomas Crooks equals 157. So is United States. But the final score was 89-83. Kobe died synced up with the Pope's 83rd birthday. Helicopter crash equals 83. Los Angeles, California's 89. Richard, I saw you just trying to call in. I was trying to pick up, but you hung up before I could pick it up. If you wanted to share something, that's fine. 89 is the 24th prime. We've seen a lot of that in 2024. Kobe finished his career with number 24. Mahomes won his first Super Bowl the next Sunday at age 24. Then he won his second after Len Dawson died on Kobe Bryant Day, August 24th, 24 days before Mahomes' birthday. And then he won his third Super Bowl in 2024, representing Missouri, the 24th state, as they got their 24th all-time playoff win. And Mahomes' 89th career win, the 24th prime. When Harbaugh won the championship for Michigan, it was his 89th win with Michigan, 24th prime, 2024. But Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian feud is reignited by National Snake Day. And it was 8 years ago something, but again, I'm pretty sure LeBron's father was Nate Thurmond, and he did die on this day 8 years ago. Kobe started out wearing 8. Remember, in Gematria, the sun equals 24, like the 24-hour days dictated by the movement of the sun. And over the course of a year, if you took a picture of the sun every single day at the same time, assuming you had a clear sky every day, you took a picture of the sky every day at noon, and you captured the sun over the course of the year, and your camera's in the exact same position. You're shooting at the same position each day at the same minute. What the sun would do is make a figure 8 over the course of the year in its position. Like if you looked at all your photos that you took over the year, you'd be like, whoa, that's weird how the sun moves like that. So 8 and 24 relate to the sun. Kobe Bryant dead on a Sunday. Remember, star equals 58 like Kobe Bryant. Sun equals 54 like Kobe Bean Bryant, who died the Sunday before Super Bowl 54. Joe had to see his son die before he died, and he was born in 1954. Hold on. Richard sent a text message. All right. You can call in if you want, Rich. By the way, since Kobe died, look at that. Kobe died. Oh, so it's 53 months and 20 days since Kobe died. That means we're in the 54th month since Kobe died. And that also means we're days away. It'll be July 26th that will mark exactly 54 months since he passed. I'm thinking that's, you know what? What's that day, you guys? It's 26/7, right? It's 267. That's a big Philly area code, like how Kamala was in Philly talking about how Trump's trampling the Constitution the day of the shooting in Pittsburgh. That was 267 days after Kamala's birthday. Again, when the Niners lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship, the year of Super Bowl 57, Lincoln Financial Field, the Eagles ended up in the Super Bowl on Lincoln's birthday, where Mahomes won in State Farm Stadium when he does the State Farm ads. Oh, snap. I'm losing my train of thought again. But yeah, I was going to say the Niners stayed on 267 all-time road wins, losing that game in Philly that year. Kamala from the Bay. Again, the Phillies the Athletics and the Warriors started in Philadelphia. And we thought the Athletics would win that series versus the Phillies to give them that 34th loss. Athletics 34, again, Philadelphia 61. We told you so many times. But yeah, I think something's coming July 26th. Now that I really look at it, they did that ritual with Allen Iverson this year at the statue at the practice facility, Mr. Practice. We're talking about practice. Man, who we got to think of from Philly? God, who's still alive? I got to go back and double check, man. From grinding for so long, I got like a new case of amnesia. I can't keep things straight, man. But Philadelphia people, beware. July 26th, Philly area code 54 months from Kobe's death. I got to look at something just because they sync up all the sports, and right now the main sport that's in session is the ML. Looking at what the WNBA is doing that day might be interesting. I got to see what baseball's doing that day. It's a Friday. Cleveland, Philly, Minnesota, the original home of the Lakers, Detroit, Reds, Tampa. Oh, you got your old Yankees Boston matchup. LeBron, part owner of the Red Sox. Dodgers are playing Houston. Damn. See? Okay. See, I already see it. That was the 113th World Series, you guys. Don't forget, that's the one where Vice News wrote their hit piece on me because we laid it out big time back when we get views. What day Harvey was going to flood Texas. We were dead on about that, sadly. Why it would be on August 27th, the Super 52 day, and then why it mattered that Matt Harvey, was the first pitcher to pitch in Houston after the flooding of Harvey 52 days before the World Series, and why that signaled that it would be the Astros over the Dodgers. And then Vice News wrote their hit piece making fun of what I wrote. And now the same thing just happened in Texas in terms of the numbers with the crazy hurricane and flooding. It was the exact same numbers. But anyway, 52-239 is what it was. But yeah, that was the 113th World Series. Kobe Bryant won 1-3. How interesting the Dodgers are playing at Houston on that day. Baseball, 54 outs in a complete game. That this game's going to be symbolic right here. See how many games the Astros got by then. Maybe the Astros are on 54 wins by the end of that game. The Astros, when they won that World Series that year, it was their 56th season, and Hurricane has the gematria of 56 as well as 52. You guys just watch the way they do it, man. Year after year, they got something lined up that makes, once you see it, it's just like, oh yeah, I get it. Kobe missed a 1-1-3 in the 113th World Series. 54 weeks later, the 54 sport. And you got to watch the Philly thing too, right? Because we're talking about how Kobe's dad's dead on seemingly the anniversary of LeBron's father, Nate Thurmond, who was born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio as LeBron and Steph Curry were. But Cleveland is playing Philly. Again, 267. 2016, that year, LeBron won. It was Cubs over Cleveland in the Major League Charlie Sheen tribute. Remember, Major League equals 108, like 108 double stitches on a baseball. Cubs broke the 108-year drought. All right. Let me see here. All right. Elon Musk, you guys. Did you see Elon Musk? Our favorite Jesuit puppet is, he's been hanging out in Austin with all the other Jesuit shills, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, all the big frauds on the world stage, giving people false hope, leading them astray. Won't ever talk about the real information that actually exposes what's going on because it would expose them. Elon Musk moving to Texas. And would you believe it, you guys? Remember, Texas has that 1229 birthday where 1229 is the 201st prime. That's why Netanyahu came back on that day on the Lone Star State's birthday when he represents the Lone Star Israel. State of Israel 201 like the Jesuit order. But remember, he also stepped down on the day, leaving 201 days left in the year. Anyhow, the Jesuit order 201, Order of Illuminati 201, special number. Today's the 201st day of Texas's age that Elon Musk is moving his companies from California to Texas. And, Gavin Newsom in the Jesuit club. So he's got a beef with Gavin Newsom at age 56. Again, just right here. SpaceX founder Elon Musk said Tuesday, that's today, that aerospace company, along with X, formerly known as Twitter, will move their headquarters from California to Texas after Jesuit Gavin Newsom signed a law preventing schools from requiring employees to notify parents if students request to use different pronouns, which Musk said was the final straw. Yeah. Just all politically divisive script, getting people to take sides in the problems they create for us to dwell over because they control what's on our mind by controlling the screens that all of us have. Almost everybody has one of these screens, at least one close by, and then they probably have another computer screen or laptop screen or screen up on the wall if they're not at a place that doesn't have 15 different TVs going. Plus, they got to keep track of their phone. That's why nobody has any attention span. It's just They figured out how to put screens everywhere, constantly control what we're thinking about. That's why they keep the technology so cheap while everything else is skyrocketing in price. TVs are somehow bigger and cheaper than ever. It's amazing. Nobody's catching on. If you missed the earlier video on why this happened today with Trump and RFK Jr., it's not just because RFK Jr., RFK the third, Bobby the third. It's not just because he got on his social media and posted something he wasn't supposed to. It's because it's news by the numbers, like all these Jesuit puppets participate in every day. Robert F. Kennedy, born in 1954, 181 days after his birthday. The subject is vaccine skepticism. It's like, well, I don't know who's still skeptical at this point. I think all the evidence is pretty much out there. My sister, again, it's just I'm always going to pick on my sister because she's so hard-headed. She's gotten all the jabs. She's just keeps suffering all this illness ever since. She had a really bad flu in the middle of this summer. I mean, who's getting sick? I mean, we never. God, it's crazy how people get sick in the summer now. I don't ever remember this, but in the new post, everyone got jabbed there. It's like, God, your immune system doesn't even hold up when it's sunny outside. I'm definitely glad I skipped that experiment. No slave muzzle, no jab, and no problem. Just like I said it would be. It's like how I modeled. You know, who else did the live stream of how to shop at Costco without a mask and tell them to mind their own business? Until what they did is I got a letter in the mail. I mean, it all went off without a hitch until I got a letter in the mail that they canceled my membership. But I wasn't mad about that. I was like, we shouldn't be supporting this store that wants to make us act like we're a bunch of fools, like we don't know nothing. And sadly, most people are, and they don't know nothing. That's why they went along with it. But yeah, if you missed the post on this earlier, definitely check it out. Again, just to remind people, all these Jesuits, Fauci, RFK, Jr., Trump, 78 days after Fauci's birthday, while Trump is 78. Remember, the pandemic was declared 78 days after Fauci's birthday, back when it was declared. I've been talking about this since forever. But again, the name of the virus, the name of the motto, order out of chaos, the name of the gang that does it, the surname of the family with the curse, where the shooting just happened in Butler 78 days after Melania's birthday, when Stormy Daniels equals 78. And you just know someday it's going to come out. It's going to be like the new Jackie Onassis Kennedy conspiracy theory that it was actually Melania who orchestrated the hit. I know someday that's going to be out there. That'll be like a super viral. Like, oh, yeah, this is the most important information to know. It was actually Melania. She was mad about Stormy. Melania watching all 34 of the guilty verdicts. It just shifted her mind. Like she was Jack Nicholson in The Shining. R.I.P. to the lady from that movie, what they just did to her the other day. Synced up with old Jack, who might not have that much more time himself. Man, that'd be dirty if they did Jack Nicholson on that day. Oh, my God, that would be dirty. Jack Nicholson, is that a worthy sacrifice for the ongoing, mega death rituals connected to Kobe legacy? I mean, they've connected, remember right after Kobe died, then it was Lisa Marie Presley's children. And the next thing you know, she's getting, Kobe's thing was all about 54, and then Lisa Marie Presley, dead at 54, right after that guy wins Best Actor at the Golden Globes for portraying her father, whose music career began in 54. Again, he began recording at Sun Record Studios. Golden Globes equals 54, like Jesuit order. All right, so here, in light of sports and politics, look at this. Look how perfect this is, you guys. The American League is 47-44 versus the National League. And remember, last year we were out at the All-Star game because it was in my own backyard in Seattle. Not exactly. It's over a 3-hour drive for me now. But we went out to Seattle last year, and we talked to the fans and educated about this knowledge and had a mostly very positive response. I'll be over mind-blowing. But last year, it was up on the 47th parallel. In the American League, they had an 11-year winning streak that ended on the 11th of July. And again, the American League stayed on 47 wins on the 47th parallel. So now this year, they're in Arlington, which equals 47. But here's what I want you to really see about this. The American League has scored 383 runs in the All-Star game, and the National League has scored 377, okay? 383 is the 76th prime number, okay? And remember, 76 is big in this shooting, which just happened in Pittsburgh The starting pitcher for the National League is this rookie phenom who's 6-0, who's just been super dominant. It looks like he might be one of the greatest players of all time if he can keep it up. So he's with Pittsburgh, right? Now look at this. Okay, remember Tim Wakefield died very suspiciously, and then his wife died right after him. He was drafted by Pittsburgh. And now this year, the biggest story of the MLB is this young pitcher for Pittsburgh after Wakefield's death. Notice, Wakefield was sent to one All-Star game in his MLB career, and it was when he was in the American League with Boston after, the time they won the World Series. But Tim Wakefield was a very long career knuckleball pitcher. If you don't know baseball, a knuckleball is a really rare pitch that's hard for anyone to master, but he was one of these masters of it, and you don't have to throw it very hard, so you can pitch for a very long time if you can do it because you don't wear out your arm. So Tim Wakefield's this long story in baseball history, but he dies at this young age. I've done several videos on Tim Wakefield's death. But just going back and look at this, he was named an All-Star after his 383rd game, the 76th prime, on 7-6. And keep in mind, that's Bush's birthday, Skull and Bones member, and 76 is big with them too. And they're Pirates, and again, he was drafted by a Pirate. But look at this. The 1976 World Series, or not 1976, excuse me. It was the 1979 World Series, but it was the 76th World Series. It was Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. Okay, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. The ones who've had the bridge collapses that are all connected to each other with the 128 code, right? So look at this. Today, the All-Star game with the starting pitchers representing Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Again, this is the 76 World Series. Today's starting pitchers for the All-Star game play for these teams, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, with the bridge collapses. And both bridge collapses were all about the number 128. So today is 128 weeks and 2 days after the January 28th crash of the bridge in Pittsburgh. Fern Hollow was the name of that bridge. Fern Hollow equals 128 like bridge collapse, right? And then, the Baltimore bridge collapse, which we just talked about, which came down at 128, 128 days from Francis Scott Key's birthday. The way that ESPN writes out the location of the game, they write out the field name, comma, the city, comma, TX, kind of like how you'd write the city and state on an envelope. Globe Field Life, Arlington, comma, TX is 128, where the location of the game is. And the home run derby yesterday was 128 days before Biden's birthday. With regards to what just happened to Trump outside of Pittsburgh and Butler, remember, Butler is named, that city's named after a man who died at age 48, like Donald Trump equals 48, like Hollywood 48. The pitcher for the Pirates, the big star, Paul Skeens, today's game is 48 days after his May 29th birthday. He has the same birthday as JFK. How weird. May 29th. 48 days after his birthday. And look at the Pirates' record at the All-Star break, 48-48, and they do that one day after the shooting. They became 47-48 the day of the shooting, and then they became 48-48 the day after, just in time for the All-Star break, where their young star pitcher, who's 6-0, like it's the 60th presidential election upcoming, like Donald Trump equals 60, again, like his wife falling dead down the stairs 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year, which ran more than a typical calendar year. But again, isn't it interesting how these numbers were so important to the shooting? Like we say, sports and politics scripted together. Paul Skeens, 6-0, 48 days after his birthday. Donald Trump equals 48 when you run the alphabetical order forwards, 60 when you run it in reverse. He's 6-0 to start his rookie year. And again, we just saw how the 1979 Super Bowl was the 60th NFL season. The Pittsburgh Steelers won that, so that was a big year for Pittsburgh. Butler, Pennsylvania is on the 79th Meridian West. And remember, 79 is no slouch of a number. Society of Jesus is 79. The Jesuits. By the way, Richard Quinn, who you just texted me, I appreciate you always going out and sharing the work, but Richard Quinn, I want you to think about this. If you watch the beginning of your interview, I know you know 9/11 and 118 in LA and like Super Bowl 52 very well, but when people ask you about because you'll make the statement like how Gematria is so relevant and it's current and it's everything. But then when people ask you to tell stories, you're always going back to stuff that happened many years ago. And since you're doing an interview today with somebody about Gematria, you should be talking to them about what's going on with this assassination right now. I didn't get to see your full interview, but the whole beginning is just all this old stuff from many years ago now. And I'm thinking, man, why is he not talking about just some of the humdingers for the Trump assassination? That's what everyone's focused on. you know? So again, I think from now on when you speak, always try to have like a good current example instead of rather going back to your favorite archives of 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, back when you first found the work. But I do appreciate being out there spreading it. I'm just saying that there's so many things that you could have shared right now about what's going on. This whole 76 thing, though, again, it's coded into the. If you guys have not watched my videos in recent days, we've been talking about how 76 is coded into the shooting. Even BlackRock's now part of it, having to cancel the ad from 2 years ago that had the shooter in it. When the shooter's name equals 76, like BlackRock, like Donald John Trump. Again, 76 is special, obviously, going back to this country in 1776. But if you even add up the runs for the American League and National League, the total runs scored coming in today, it's at 760 runs all time. 760. And remember, the Rangers are hosting this where JFK was killed, and Skull and Bones member George Herbert Walker Bush was there that day, and then his son ran the Rangers, George Walker Bush, whose birthday is 7-6. Again, Georgia Guidestones came down on his 76th birthday. They were etched and put up on March 22nd. The etchings on those stones, 322, like Skull and Bones' order 322. Again, Yale's 322 years old right now, where Yale Skull and Bones is. In the Dark Knight Rises, where the stadium blows up with the Steelers, you see section 322. Again, just Pittsburgh, where the shooting is. Reminds me of Joe Biden getting his first shot at 322 sharp. You guys remember that one? You've definitely been here. So yeah, again, just sports, politics, jokes on jokes. Earlier today, we were talking about Jimmy Butler and the Butler from Fresh Prince. The ad they put out earlier this year clearly synced with the shooting because Jimmy Butler's the big star from Jesuit Marquette in Milwaukee, where the convention is days later, where they do the ritual and tribute to Theodore Roosevelt. But yeah, again, Jimmy Butler, same birthday as the death date of McKinley, who was assassinated, that brought about Roosevelt. And again, William McKinley, 171, like the shooting was on the day, leaving 171 days left in the year, which again is the 18th triangular number, and Vance is 18, and he got picked 18 days before his upcoming birthday for VP. And by the way, Teddy Roosevelt High School is been in New York City across the street from Fordham since 1918. Trump went to Fordham. Teddy Roosevelt's associated with New York, but it is interesting how that high school is right across the street from Fordham where Trump went. Yeah, if you missed the earlier decode we did on this, I don't want to be too redundant because I covered it. But the butler from Fresh Prince, and Donald Trump was in an episode of Fresh Prince, the actor Joseph Marcelli has that 214. The 214's big in the shooting, 214 days from Pennsylvania state birthday. It goes with the Republican Party, Ronald Reagan. Again, JFK dead in the 214 area code. The Parkland High School shooting on 214 when JFK died at Parkland Hospital. And then again, they did start tearing down the Parkland High School this year on Trump's birthday, number 45, when the shooting was on Valentine's Day, the 45th day of the year. And then the shooting in Pennsylvania was 45 days after JFK's birthday anniversary. And the day before the anniversary of the death of his wife, who died 45 years after their marriage. And again, just all the other 45s that have been with Trump since he announced back in 2015. But again, the world, again, it's the George Carlin joke. You know, there's a big club and you're not in it. It's the phrase, the world's a stage. It's political theater. It's the theater of war. It's like learning this code and you really start to see how all of this fits. Your numbers up. So, 13 Serpents. I don't want to ask anything of you because you've been so generous. If you have time, can you please email me, GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com with the thing that you told me about with Passio and Jay Parker, because I would just love to see that. I really appreciate it. I just couldn't find it. And if you did already send me the link and I missed it, I apologize. I'll be on the lookout for it. GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com. If you don't have the time, that's fine. It was just you who tipped me off to that. And yeah, always appreciate your generosity. And thank you, Vinny. Says, been watching you since 2016. I appreciate this. Been watching you since 2016. Never comment, but you're the man. I always thought sports and politics were scripted growing up. You made that thought become real. Thank you for everything. You're very welcome. And yeah, that's what the research did for me too. I always had all these beliefs and thoughts and ideas, and it's hard to exactly prove it. But you find this, I mean, you have to be in serious denial. Something that just happened before I came on here. Shout out to Richard Quinn. He was doing an interview with Jesse. And I noticed, Jesse's had me on a few times, but whenever I'm interviewing with him, I can just see his energy through the screen. Like he's disinterested in what I'm talking about. I don't even know why he has me on. And then when I'm not on and he talks about my work to other people, he kind of puts it down. And then, I hate to sound mean, but like I always say, like, I feel like everyone who doesn't get my work, it's either that they want to live with the cognitive dissonance and not think about these things, or it's because they're not smart enough to get it. In his case, I really think it is the intelligence thing. But I just saw how he was kind of beating on Richard about, so Richard, okay, you're teaching the stuff that Zach teaches. What's it do for somebody who's already awake? And I've seen him say this to other people too. That I've seen him say this in other interviews. Like, yeah, what Zach does, I feel like it's really not that helpful to people who already get that the game is rigged. And it's like, I hate listening to that, because almost everybody who sees the game's rigged just goes to they. All they have is they. They'll throw out it's the Masons, it's the Jews. You hear that stuff all the time. It's not concrete. What we're doing is concrete. We're showing day after day who put this code together, how it all syncs up, why they're in the network, where they all went to school at. It just lines up every day. But anyway, what just happened is I saw Richard was doing this interview, and I know normally when Jesse's interviewing, if I get in the room and ask to come on, he'll at least bring me on. But I was calling Jesse out, and it is his own show, but I was saying, Jesse, I can just always see your energy and how you're trying to put down the work. And then I was explaining to him how in this moment of what's going on right now in the nation, see, he didn't answer what I asked, but I came at him kind of stern, because I do get annoyed. I get peeved at people's just like shit energy they put towards my work. And it's like, how can you not appreciate what we're putting out? Like, but anyway, I came at him like, listen, look at what we're doing right now. We've been on this for a long time, really, but especially since RFK Jr. got in the race, about how all the signs that there's going to be a big assassination ritual, and then it plays out by the exact code we're talking about the whole time. Not to mention we were all over it pretty much the day before it happened, talking about the kill date, the Eminem album, all these synchronicities. And then sure enough, something, boom, happens. We're talking about how the Eminem album showed this, maybe exactly how I put it then. Is it going to be like another JFK Houdini type of, headshot moment, or however I phrased it? Because again, to this day, nobody really knows what happened in JFK. When that video footage originally came out back in the 60s, it was so grainy and blurry, nobody could see anything. The way we're lied to at this day and age, could they have just been doing the same thing all this time when they're all connected and just so highly ritualistic? Anyway, this knowledge, it can't answer every last question, but it can answer a lot of questions and connect dots and show evidence of who is doing it and for what purpose. It's just like people who don't appreciate this. If you guys ever saw the interview where Jesse was on there, he came at me at one point. He's like, but Zach, all this math stuff. He's like, don't you know math's like a subject that doesn't even make sense anyway? Because like, for example, 1 times 1 is really 2. And I said, whoa, Jesse. I said, last time I checked, math was like the language that's exact and provable. It's either false or it's not. And 1 times 1 is not 2, because what it means, and I explained it to him, and then he understood it. Things have to be explained properly. I said, what that means is, say, Jesse, I was going to agree with you that if you work for me today, I'll pay you $1 for this one day. You're going to get $1 one time. How much money am I paying you? Am I paying you $2? And he thought about it. He goes, no, you'd be paying me $1. I said, that's what 1 times 1 is. If I'm going to pay you $1 2 times, because you're going to do the same thing 2 days, I'm going to pay you $2. If you're going to do it every day of the year, and it's 365 days in the year, I'm going to pay you $365. Once he got that, but, Jesse, he didn't understand that. I had to explain that to him. Jesse's a flat earther, which also shows that he doesn't understand math. Every flat earther, they can all concede that they don't understand math. That's why they believe in the flat earth, which is completely illogical. But again, Jesse thinks the flat earth is more important than my work. You can tell when you're talking to Jesse about what I'm doing, like it's not processing. You can see that, like, it's like there's not you can just see it in his face. And then that's why it comes out later. He's like, yeah, I don't really understand the point of Zach's work because like we're already awake, but like the flat Earth, if we could find the missing land that one captain said all those years ago, past Antarctica, that could be like the happy place. I mean, and again, the thing is, Jesse's more like what a normal person's like. Which is it's not good enough. You know, shout out to RPM Trey. RPM, I heard you're like, I don't think Zach thinks he's better than people. I try not to think that, but I do realize a lot of people are just like fucking retarded and worthless and cannon fodder. And that's why I've said for a lot of years, it'd be nice to just have a giant wood chipper and just, like a Jesse shows him. Sorry, Jesse, going in the wood chipper today. When you think flat Earth's more important than this, that's automatic in the wood chipper. I'll go to war with anybody who thinks vice versa on that all day, every day, because these wood chipper people are dragging us all to hell. We can't have people this dumb over and over who can't appreciate the truth and are more into lies and bullshit and think that's more valuable. This is a sign of just, it's a disgrace of a human, to be perfectly honest. That's what I'd say. I mean, we're given this brain and this ability to think and ration and make proofs, perform experiments to get to the truth. Again, where's Wolfie 6020? It should be in every flat earther's subscription feed. Again, the guy who's been giving you all the provable experiments that you can replicate at your home to prove the Earth's not flat. He's been flying up in the sky as an actual real pilot, not a fake flat Earth. Oh, I know a pilot who said the Earth's flat. He's an actual pilot flying in the sky, showing you how as they move, how these things are mathematically impossible on a flat Earth. Shout out to Wolfie 6020 for spending so much time and so much energy and spending so much money and buying all this expensive shit to do all these experiments to try and help flat earthers. And you see his comment section, flat earthers, they just don't want to learn. They're like, oh, he's a shill. He's trying to hide the flat earth. It's like, again, you guys, this is why I've been going nuts since 2015 when flat earth came on the scene. And I just realized how many more people thought that was just the mecca. And I was like, oh my God, arguing over the shape of the earth in light of who's doing what's going on earth that needs to be stopped. If we could just escape them through the passage in Antarctica to the happy Greenland. I mean, why haven't you guys done that yet? All this time, you guys haven't sailed the ocean blue and found, what is it, Admiral Byrd. Every flat earther discredits every person in the military ever, except for Admiral Byrd, the one who supposedly found where the leprechauns are. I mean, come on. You just see the way their minds work. That's how every flat earther's mind works. They're like, I'm going to throw out all the evidence that goes against it. I'm just going to go to these. Here, Admiral Byrd. He's the only what Admiral Byrd said matters. He was there. He documented it. Oh, here, I found what this one scientist said. Look at what this one scientist said way back in 1940. It's like, okay, you want to use the opinion of one scientist? How about all the scientists that said a lot of different things and you don't have to go back past yesterday? It's like flat earthers, man. Just they don't have common sense. That's why they sit there and make dumb arguments and waste a decade of their life. And don't ever come at me and say I've wasted the last decade of my life. Sure, we haven't changed the world yet, but the stuff I put out, if humanity can ever evolve, they'll start to understand the information and they'll stop falling for the bullshit. You shouldn't be falling for the bullshit anyway. I mean, to Jesse's credit, yeah, if you're awake, you should be able to see through things. But this number code shows you who is doing it. You're not left to they. Oh, it's they. No, it's the people who gave us the calendar and the language and control a lot of the education and medical system and clearly the government and control the levers to society. They're behind the intelligence agencies. Howard Hunt told you in the CIA, he said the Jesuits are the greatest intelligence network in the world. But yeah, Rich, if somebody ever asks you again what the point of the work is, I mean, if you go back and look at your answer, you got back into how you're selling T-shirts. I mean, if I was watching that, I'd be like, oh, so wait, the point of the work is to sell T-shirts? I mean, that wasn't Rich. You're too hooked on the T-shirt. The point of the work should have been to offer proof of who is doing this and how they operate and get ahead of it and also wake people up so they don't participate in the system. That is the point of doing this. That's why sometimes like Rich, I know you mean well, but seriously, like sometimes just make sure you answer the question in a way that makes sense. Um, it's proof. I mean, we have proof for what we're putting down. Our theories are sound because they continue to land. We continue to be ahead of the curve and see what's coming before it happens. Everyone else continues to be lost in the woods and act like what we're doing is getting lucky every day. And anyway, yeah. And the other thing is, Rich, to pay attention to people's body language. Like Jesse, I mean, I've noticed it too. I just go out there to speak everywhere, but Jesse does not care. I mean, look at his face. I mean, he's just his attitude and no, I mean, yeah, don't waste your time and energy. I would say at the end of the day with him, he's out to lunch. He doesn't care. So and notice how he didn't respond to me. He cut me off. I said I asked him I asked him a specific question. I said, Jesse, out of all the people you interviewed, who put out a book in the middle of 2020 accurately forecasting how it was all going to wind down the year of the tiger? I'll tell you what, though, Jesse, when I met him in all of 2020, he had a huge tiger in his background the whole year. I wonder about that in hindsight because he did. He had a massive tiger behind him the whole year that he streamed in 2020 when there was all this tiger shit going on, and that's what we used to explain why they'd wind down their bullshit pandemic as soon as the year of the tiger came around. And again, I don't understand how people like him get these interviews with these famous people. I'm like, why do people want to go on a guy's channel who has like 500 subscribers? We can't get these people to ever respond to us. So, yeah, Jesse's the Canadian guy. Yeah. No, because I could, Richard wasn't picking up on the way he was talking to him and his tone. And he was trying to make the point like he makes to other people that there's no point in my work. And Richard doesn't know all that. So he kind of just went on and got into the t-shirt thing. But when I saw that, I came on his stream and I called him out because I know what he's doing. And then he got all butt hurt and just kicked me off the stream. And again, you guys, also just I know you guys don't. I know a lot of you guys don't like me because of the things I say, but the truth hurts, doesn't it? Jesse has that total beta male energy. Like short and pudgy and a weak little voice. And again, I hate to make it about that, but again, wood chipper. Do we need weak little beta pudgy males? Do we need them? Do we need little dumbass flat earthers that don't respect the truth and hard work and real ethic and put down real work because they think the flat earth's more important? I'm sorry, wood chipper. Wood chipper all day. Just toss these people in the wood chipper. I don't think it is wrong. I think there's way too many worthless, breathing, knuckle-dragging losers like a Jesse. What's the point of sitting there and interviewing people all day when you're like not even paying attention, you're just like posting every comment, and then when people ask you a question, you can tell you're checked out? No. No, again, you guys just see what, for people who don't get it, again, I guess people don't get it. This weak ass society, you just look at it. It's just so sensitive. Everything needs to be censored. Oh my God. Oh, I don't even want to have an opinion on if men who identify as women should be able to compete against women in sports, go in the bathroom. Again, this is the problem with the weak society. It can't confront anything. It just sits there and puts its muzzle on and gets another jab from the most sued company in the world for wrongful death and injury. No, and again, I mean, we've been casting our pearls before swine to almost the whole world for this whole decade. Just the swine. They don't appreciate it. Swine people. Yeah, again, I've just heard like that anomaly guy. He says he's a rapper, but then he won't have a debate, so he doesn't have like the battle rapper energy. And then he has this real beta male. You guys know, like he has the song, and how does this little song start? It's the Dream Rare podcast. Welcome to the show. Sounds like a Backstreet Girl. It's just like, but again, this is the same kind of guy. And the reason I'm ripping on him is because he'll tell people, oh yeah, that Zach guy, he's just always so angry and thinks his work's something, but it ain't really nothing. And then he gets into his thing about how he's all lost and yeah, Thomas Massey's the only real one as he sacrifices his wife by the same code they all do in DC. Again, these people are all lost in the sauce. They get mad at me because I have real passion. Yeah, I'm angry about the state of the world. I've seen how sick and disgusting it is from a young age, especially since 9/11 on. Watch this nation chant USA while we go bomb brown people who didn't have nothing to do with 9/11. It was so obvious it was a lie from day one. They're snickering at us. Like they're snickering at us now. And again, the same people are like, what do you mean it was staged? The one guy who calls in from Texas with a nice voice, and sometimes he seems like he's helpful, but then sometimes he calls in and acts. He's leaving comments right now that the shooting was real. Again, he's another one of these Jesus people, too. He's always, someday, Zach, you'll be with us with Jesus. See, you're easily fooled, Jesus man down in Texas. You know I'm talking to you. You're fooled by this bullshit in Pennsylvania. That's what I always say about all you religious types. Fooled, gullible, easily tricked, cultivated from a young age to be that way so you can be manipulated your whole life by these authorities. And then don't get all butthurt. Oh, Zach's satanic. No, just because I don't believe in your bullshit religion cult doesn't mean I'm satanic. I grew up Christian too. I learned the golden rule. I think that's the most important one. And you know what? I do observe the golden rule. Maybe, well, actually, if I'm going to put an asterisk next to that, maybe my online behavior, it might provoke somebody who doesn't deserve to be provoked. They've never come across one of my channel or my video. But this is a YouTube channel. I'm not talking to you in the street. In real life, I've never broken the golden. Actually, hold on. I'm going to take that back too. I told you when I was a kid, I stole my friend's mom's $5 bill on the counter, which was a lot more money back then. It's like the 90s. I always feel so bad about that. And she knew I stole it and I wouldn't admit it because then I felt like I was going to be guilty. That's the worst thing I ever did. Stole my friend's mom's $5 bill. I broke the golden rule. I feel like outside of that, I have not been breaking the golden rule. I've been trying to treat. I will turn the other cheek, but then I'm also the person once I turn it too much, I'm done with that. See, now you see why I left the religion, because I can only turn the cheek so many times. But yeah, anyway. Also, my legacy is I spent the last decade of plus of my life, now 11 years in August, pushing out knowledge to a society that I knew that was mostly swine just because there's nothing else to do. Until the truth reaches this nation, we're going to continue to get manipulated, enslaved, taken advantage of, and drugged to the bottom. And yeah, shout out to RPM Trey Vietnam though. He's not a marshmallow person. He's out on the street standing up for the Second Amendment. So again, passionate about the work. Again, the work is about exposing the evil. That's what the passion is, to stop what's going on. This work is the best vehicle I know of to expose who's doing it and for what purpose. And from what I've seen in the last 11 years, nobody's even come close to explaining anything or predicting anything nearly as well as we have, and showing how it's all connected. And I'll forever be mad that I never got to talk to Jordan Maxwell, because the one thing I didn't like about Jordan Maxwell is he routinely said that people will never wake up because the stuff that he's talking about doesn't exactly align with like the world of entertainment. He made it seem like the world of I don't know how to put it, but it was like he made it seem like you could not expose the world of entertainment or the things that were going on in the world of government and banking and industry. What was different than entertainment. That's all what they're into. But it's like he should have done more to like we've done to merge how the world of entertainment literally is scripted in tune with the other things he's talking about. I always thought I was going to get an interview with Jordan Maxwell before he passed. He did interviews with a lot of people, but he never accepted mine. And that's why it's just so annoying. It's like, however, all these people, like, for example, Fake Mike Real News. I did like Jordan Maxwell multiple times. How's he collaborating with Jordan Maxwell, but he won't talk to me? I mean, how have we not deserved? I don't understand how we haven't earned more respect from way more people for all that we've done for over a decade. I mean, we've done just incredible things, unprecedented. Calling news, celebrity deaths, sports, literally the day hurricanes are going to land over and over, year after year. Teaching the same code, same pattern, coming back to the same topics every year. Might be mind-blowing or too mind-blowing for some people, but again, start to look at it. There is a track record. There is a history of weather warfare being admitted to going back to at least 1952. The U.S. and Vietnam. Anyway, it's frustrating to watch all this stuff go down, to have been on top of it, and in the reviews or the ratings are still dog shit. Can hardly sell a book a day. It's just like, I mean, this work deserves so much more behind it. and it's just not there. And then instead you got people like Jesse acting like we're not doing anything and then being a little bitch. Can't answer the question, so just cuts me off the stream. Says, you're not going to do that on my stream. You should have done it on your stream. Should have done it on your stream. Should have, again, what you showed me is you didn't have a response. And you're such a little bitter hater and your little weak man energy that you can't give props to the person. Again, you can't name a person who put out a better book or called it. You can't. That's why you can't answer the question. All you can do is turn me off and say, oh, I don't like him because he's not a flat earther. See, all these flat earthers up in their feelings. They're all butthurt because I always rip on the flat earth. You know why I rip on the flat earth? Because it's fucking retarded. That's why. Because it's literally fucking impossible. They say nothing's impossible. I'll tell you what's impossible. The flat earth. That's what's impossible. And I don't want to get into it. It's just, yeah, I'm mad that I live in a world where more people resonate with a total bullshit psyop meant to make them look like fucking retards than somebody who's laying it out ABC 1, 2, 3 every day. Look at Ryan James. Ha, 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 what's your best proof of the globe? Ha, 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 ha. I mean, where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? God, I mean, all you guys are just retards. God, it's just so annoying with you flat earthers. How come every model that nails everything to a T, first of all, is based on the spherical model? I don't want to get into this. Sunrises and sunsets, the spherical objects in the sky, everything. I mean, the fact that you see different stars from different hemispheres totally would be impossible on a flat earth. I hate listening to flat earthers try to explain all their bullshit. It's just like, can these people just shut up, man? They're too Dunning-Kruger all the ways, flat earth. It's the greatest proof of the Dunning-Kruger effect. A society of fucking retards who all think they're geniuses because they can all reach. Neil deGrasse Tyson, how come he said the earth was a pear then? It's like, why the fuck do I care what Neil deGrasse Tyson said, you fucking retard? What's that have to do with anything? How come NASA means deceive in Hebrew? Because it doesn't. Fucking retard. You know what I mean? You got like 1 million people in the world that are all these are their two arguments that the Earth's flat. Neil deGrasse Tyson said it's a pear, and what was the second one? It was so dumb I already forgot it. It's just, oh, it looks. I'm out here in Kansas. It looks flat from my patio. My patio's flat. How come my patio's not curved? Anyway, I'm just, it's sad. I hate ranting about the same things, but again, the same reason people fall for flat Earth is the same reason they fall for politics. The same reason they pause for the obvious WWE entertainer Donald Trump bringing the old razor blade to the ear for a little bleeding trick or something along those lines. I mean, Hollywood, they got 1,000 different tricks, but that is the old wrestling one. Just a little tiny razor blade, little tiny touch, little cut. It'll bleed like a mother. Vincent Van Gogh. Here, if you guys got here late, let's just make sure that just the main thing, take it away one more time. The Art of War. These continual tributes to art. Again, Trump appears with a bandage on his ear at the Republican National Convention. Vincent Van Gogh, whose birthday was March 30th, the same day in history that Reagan was shot, has a painting called Self-Portrait with Bandaged Ear. And that title of that portrait equals 128, like the shooting of Reagan came on the 128th birthday of Van Gogh, which obviously has the parallels with what's happening with Trump, who's now surging ahead of 81-year-old Biden. Again, shooting on the 40th parallel in Butler, reminiscent of what happened to number 40, Ronald Reagan, who won re-election 40 years ago. But yeah, if you missed the beginning, we also talked about we went back to the massive 128 ritual with the bridge collapse in Baltimore, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, that was synced up with the Salvador Dali painting, which also had the 128 title. Like the bridge came down at 128, like bridge collapse equals 128, like it was 128 days from Francis Scott Key's birthday and on the 128th day of Biden's age. And then we talked about, the Biden being in Pittsburgh on 128 when the bridge collapsed there, and now how it's 128 weeks later, and the All-Star game is Baltimore. Well, it's National League versus American League, but the starting pitchers are the Pittsburgh and Baltimore pitchers. 128 weeks later. And remember, there was the shooting at the synagogue by Fern Hollow 128 weeks before that bridge came down, and the name of that synagogue was 128, which is 11 in numerology, which is the master number. But yeah, that Jesse guy, this is what I was talking about with the 128 thing, and then no response, nothing to say back. Well, actually, what he said is he's like, well, again, just like numbers, you can make them all line up. It's just like, yeah, okay, this is the guy that said 1 times 1 is 2 and the earth is flat. So his response to what I just said about 128 is just, it's a coincidence. And again, I mean, it's just like I say, you guys, I wish I was more wrong than I am. I wish I was nicer than I am. But in a way, sometimes just nice is what's wrong with our society. People believe nice. The people who lie to you every day on TV, dress nice, talk nice, and do nothing but lie to you. People are like, I'd rather listen to that. It doesn't raise my blood pressure. I feel safer. When the TV's on and, what's his name? Any of these Fox host jokers. Feel better when Jesse Waters is up there, Sean Hannity. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? I guess society's just been programmed, right? They've just been programmed. They need things a certain way. They need it spoon fed to them. They need it simple. They need it in the lanes of their political parties that they've been believing in, like their parents did since they were little kids. They learned it all by the time they were 5. Just believe in Jesus and vote Republican. God bless America. If God will bless America, God will probably bless anything, because America came out of a genocide and has been killing people for almost the whole time it's been here. Something to think about. That's the whole Jesus Christianity thing, forgiveness. God's got to be real forgiving with America. This has been murdering away, violating those commandments left and right. Yeah, we'll leave it there, you guys. I should have ended this a while ago, but I'm just also peeved about how it's a damn shame that just so many people have worked. I mean, there's been so many big channels who've just tried to attack this channel and me and this work over the years, and have never ever reversed their opinion or tried to put out anything positive or help get the information out there. And it just, and now you watch these same channels broadcast, they're like, oh, is it a false flag? It looks like it might be a false flag, but I can't tell. And it's like their videos just has nothing. Them speculating on what they don't know. It's got like 5,000 likes, 50,000 views. Then you come look at your video. It's like, damn, you put out the dopest information there ever was, really locking it all down. It's got like 320 likes, 2.5K views. And understand, there was a time back in 2017 when my channel was growing rapidly and every video got 10,000 views within the first 30 minutes. That's what else is frustrating, being all these years later now can't get any damn views. Works 1,000 times better and 1,000 times less appreciated. But yeah, the shills are still at it. Still don't have any answers. Still got the ratings. Yeah, exactly. We're pointing that out too, John. Exactly. You just look at nature. That's the thing about humans. It's like we are some kind of creation. I'm not, again, all things good and bad. I kind of feel like whatever created us, whatever creator is, it is good and bad. It's both. It allows you to take on both powers it gave you. But I do think it's a test. I think you're ultimately supposed to be good. I don't think you're supposed to be bad. You have the power to, and yeah, you can benefit from it, but can you sleep at night? And maybe that's the right thing. Or maybe a lot of these religions that speculate on an afterlife, maybe there's something to that, or some kind of reincarnation. You come back something better, you do bad, you come back something worse. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think everybody should just live by the golden rule, no matter what, because if you just treated everybody the way they wanted to be treated. By the way, RPM Trey, I heard you trying to go against the golden rule. No, what I heard you saying was not right. The golden rule: treat other people the way you want to be treated. He was making an argument that some people get like psychotic and then maybe they want to be bullied and abused, so they're bullying, abusing people because that's the way. Nobody really wants to be bullied and abused. If your mind's been turned into that because you've been abused or your meds are messing with you, this is not an argument against the golden rule. Everybody is pretty much born in a state, unless they're an ultimately rare sociopath, where they want to be treated nicely, they want to get along with others, and there'd be a lot more of that. There'd be a lot more harmony in this world had we not been born in this meat grinder where we're programmed and conditioned and lied to and made to divide over nonsense. But then it just happens, and I know I can be a divisive person. I'm fed up with humanity, so that's why when I talk about just throwing people in the wood chipper, that there is a part of me that thinks that's what needs to happen. I wish it didn't have to be that way. I'd rather not see that, because it is gruesome and awful and mean and horrific, and everybody has somebody who loves them, and that's somebody's son and that's somebody's daughter. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm thinking like that. Sons and daughters coming up right now, little infants, ones that aren't here yet. This world gets worse every year, guaranteed, because of the populace that's here, that's too weak to do anything about it, that's creating a permanent hell that will be here, like an inescapable surveillance state where they're taking this to. I've seen that coming since 9/11 happened, with the technology and the new laws. It just people ever carrying cell phones in their pockets, where all of a sudden they can listen to us and record us. It's been obvious where things are going, and people are just marching along like The Walking Dead, like they're extras in that show everybody was watching. Okay, Rich, you didn't have to give a donation. It's just, make sure you give a real, but it's just like, you got to nail that question right off the top, because he was trying to come out. You had to look at his energy and the way he said it. He's like, okay, so yeah, you do the sex work. Like, what good is it to anybody who like already is awake? Like, you should have picked up on the way he asked you that. Like it's like, oh, like if you're already awake, then what's the point of knowing the numbers? Again, you look at all these other people that think they're awake and don't have a clue about anything. They're just lost in the sauce. They have no direction, no understanding. It's just another confusing thing to them that doesn't exactly make sense. That's not how it is for us. We're like on top of it. We're like, look, didn't we tell you guys? Didn't we have the date circle already? No, it's proof. It's proof of what is being done, for what purpose, and by who. That you do any interviews and somebody asks you what the point of this work is, you got to have that question right. And it can't come like, I don't know how far you got into it, but it was your answer when I was watching it go on, and then how you got into selling t-shirts. And I was like, what is somebody thinking who's watching right now? That the point of Gematria is to sell t-shirts? That's why I had to hop on Rich. I was like, I'm going to get Jesse for the way he asked that, and how Richard kind of let him get away with one. Again, Richard, represent this work to the fullest, because that's what I try to do every day, and even that's still not enough to most people. So I'm just saying, if I was an outsider looking in and I didn't know anything, I'd be like, wait a minute, the point of the work is to sell t-shirts. Hold on, Rich is calling in. I'm gonna let him. Well, I was about to pick it up, but he hung up. Thank you again, 13 Serpents. You didn't have to do that. You already gave me a big one, and you've already given me a lot in the past. So thanks again, friend. Okay. But yeah, Rich, I do appreciate your passion and the way you get out there and help spread it. Just make sure, man, you got to hit some things. Just like when the pitch comes there, it should be a line drive right back up the middle. Hold on. Somebody wants to come on the stream. Here, I'll drop the link. Maybe Richard can get on this way. If Richard wants to come on and talk about it, he can. Or somebody else. If you guys got something also to add to this, you want to come on here and tell me this Van Gogh thing's a coincidence? Oh, ever heard of a coincidence, bro? I always love when people leave that comment. Bro, this is all coincidence, bro. Somebody just left a comment just like that on what I showed about the New Orleans player. That it's so frustrating, man. I mean, before it even happens, we're saying, watch out, you guys. It's about the time we're going to start seeing dead bodies connected to New Orleans as the Super Bowl comes there. Next thing you know, Richard Simmons by the numbers. Boom. Next day, Jacoby Jones by the numbers. And the Jacoby Jones one's just blatant. And then a guy leaves a comment. You can always just tell when some retard, because they start their sentence always with bro. Every retard starts their sentence with bro. Yeah, you heard me, retards. If you start your sentence with bro, you know what time it is, bro. Bro, all this is a coincidence. Where's your meds, bro? It's just like, you can just tell these are like 50 IQ people just talking shit. I hate how these program retards all say the same things. Bro, ever heard of coincidence, bro? Meds, bro. Tinfoil hat, bro. It's like, really? Really? A 40-year-old athlete just drops dead out of nowhere, unexplained reasons, from New Orleans before the Super Bowl's there on the 40th day of the year, and he wore 12, and the last Super Bowl in New Orleans was 12 years ago, and he just happened to be the big star in the game. That's a coincidence, bro. All right, here's you guys. I give Richard a hard time. I do. I have a love-hate relationship with Richard because I know he's more he's probably more dedicated than anybody to the work, because I will drive Richard away because sometimes he's like my big brother who drives me nuts sometimes. But again, this man is out there with a dialysis machine, you guys, pounding pavement with us from Buffalo to New York City. He's about it. He's spending whatever time of his life remaining getting this workout. So I'm always grateful to him. But Richard, also, again, before I bring you on, and this is why I want you to respond to right away. Again, I want you to do better when you present the work, because I get tired of watching you just give the same 3D codes from 5, 6, 7 years ago and not talking about anything current. And I'm like, Rich, if people are hearing that, they're like, well, if that was the last time Gematria was relevant, I mean, is that helpful? That's how they're going to think. The Trump assassination is the thing right now. If you're doing an interview today, days after the Trump assassination, make sure just come out with that. There were so many different humdingers. That's the work has to be presented in a way that people understand that it is very current and very relevant, and we both know it is. So I got to see that when you present the work. And when somebody asks you what the point of it is, I want to hear a good answer for the point too. Not like lost and don't have anything to say, and then you're jumping into t-shirt sales. That should not happen. Again, this knowledge is important. It needs to be presented in a top-notch way. And Richard and I can get along on this in person because Rich and I were together in Cleveland before we even got to Buffalo. And I still remember the day. Rich goes out with his megaphone. He sees a group of guys walking down the street. He's got a megaphone. He's telling them in front of the Cavs stadium about 9/11. Of course, it was days from 9/11. But they were like, whoa, what? They were like, bro, what are you coming at me with, bro? And I was like, hold on. I said, hey, we're just out here because we're really trying to teach knowledge. But I said, I had to stop them in Cleveland. I said, are you guys Cleveland Cavaliers fans? And they're like, of course we are. We're right in front of the stadium. I was like, all right, I just got to ask you guys a question. Did you ever realize that LeBron won the finals for you guys June 19th on the real King James's birthday? And they're like, what? And then we had him there and we told him that. And then Rich took over and it was great. But again, Rich, starting at the right point, and I don't even always do this too. I mean, sometimes I'm bad at starting at the right point or getting to the point fast enough. But again, when you're being interviewed, you got to be on it. You got to hit them. Got to hit those pitches, drive them up the middle. All right. Shout out to Richard Quinn. Rich, hopefully I'm not pissing you off too much. Thank you for going on Jesse's thing. And hold on, I can't hear you though. For some reason you're muted. Oh, hold on, I see you're muted. I unmuted it. Rich, can you hear me now? There we go.
Before I forget all my responses, I want to know if I'm going to be able to respond to every single thing you've said without being cut off or hung up on.
All right. Well, I don't want this to be a big debate. I'm just saying
it's not.
The things that I'm asking
I'm not going to get mad, Zach.
Do interviews.
I'm not going to get mad, but sometimes you only see things. Do you know I brought up this shirt for like 10 seconds once? And he was asking me the history of what I've done. I brought up the pages that I built and helping develop pounding pavement. And then Open Up came in. And I said, oh, that's when I brought up the shirt because Open Up made a comment. And I shouted him out. And I said, oh, yeah, he's bought one of these shirts too. And he helps advertise. I brought up the shirt for like 10 seconds, man. And why didn't I catch all the...
Hold on.
Well, I wasn't done.
I just want, like I said, you are the most passionate man about this work. You've done so much. You have built 1 million pages. I'm giving you credit for all that. I'm just asking you from now on, hit with a current example because I always...
Can I get to that?
Same thing there now many years
Can
ago.
I get to that? I haven't gotten there yet, Zach. I got you. There's reasons. I'm trying to collect my thoughts at the moment, okay? Throughout his video, you probably missed it. I was telling him the reason is to make people aware. I said it at least 5 times. You missed that. You just saw me point out the shirt for 10 seconds.
Okay, hold on.
Now,
I got to
why?
respond. I got to respond. Rich, I got to respond to what your answer is. I'm saying that's not a good answer because his question to you was somebody who's already aware of like how messed up the world is and rigged is, like, what's Gematria do? And that's kind of what you said back. Well, it makes awareness. He's like, well, we're all, that's why, again, it's got to be a better answer. It's proof of what is going on and who is running the show. Guys
Well,
like
no
Jesse don't know
doubt,
that. But when
man.
they all get together and talk, all they say is they, it's they, it's they. It's like, and they get.
Here's another. Here's a, can I respond still? Please. Some of the stuff he was saying, I couldn't understand because the audience could hear me, but he was cutting out a lot. So I didn't pick up on every bit of his body language, but I did pick up on some of his questions. And all I was trying to do is answer them because he doesn't matter as much as his audience does. I think I put out the best message I could. And here, why do I not exactly do current events? Some current events I do. There's all of us know 9/11 and the Super Bowls and coronavirus, but there's billions of people that don't. I have that stuff documented, typed out. I've went on television promoting that stuff. I have it memorized. I can listen to a video of yours from yesterday and I get it. I absorb it, but I may not have it all documented, memorized to present it, to be on it like you're talking about. That's why I don't talk about now like the bridge collapse. I was able to take
Rich, you could though. You could just even something simple. You could have pointed out, the Milwaukee Roosevelt Trump thing they're doing with JD Vance and just give them a few 78s. Maybe if you remember the BlackRock thing, you could have thrown that in there. Just so current and just
I understand.
So
Zach, here in the last week or two, do you realize that I've went through getting my daughter a place to live, surgery, constipation?
Okay, Rich, this is true too. All right, Rich, this is why, you guys, this is also what's wrong with the world. Rich has so much to deal with, including a serious health condition that he does well with. And again, he's not using his skills. I know that, Rich, there's so much on you. I'm just saying, when you get these opportunities, because you've done a lot of interviews for the work, I just see the same thing every time. Rich, I got to tell you one more. Again, I'm trying to give you criticisms to just make you a little bit. I really think it'd make your interview better if you just did a few of these simple things. And I also think you got to stop because you do it every time. You're like, I don't like to do the gematria. I was like, to say that is just going to be confusing. He's like, wait a minute, he's wearing a shirt that says gematria, but then he keeps saying he doesn't like to do the gematria.
And I explained that. Did I not explain that?
But you got to just stop saying that. It's just like, it's just already getting weird. It's like, wait a minute, he's gematria, but he doesn't like to do gematria. I'm so confused.
Let me respond then. Let me respond to that. Do you know how many new people I talk about this stuff every day to? And I notice what they understand and what they accept and what they don't accept, or what they give me the same tired questions. So I stick with the major events and the number patterns, and I guide them to you, and they can learn gematria as they go. Easy. I don't like to sit here and decode and talk about.
I'm just saying, Rich, don't use. Imagine that you're a new person, right? You've never even heard this word, and this guy has it on his shirt, and he's saying he supports GematriaEffectNews, and then the first time he starts to talk about gematria, he goes, "But I don't like to do gematria." It's just like that. You do it every time.
That's not exactly what I'm saying. That's not exactly what I'm saying. It may sound like that. I'll give it to you. That's not exactly the point. The point is, I'm sitting here. I'm not showing them this equals this. I'm showing them 9/11. Easy. It's my approach is different than yours. It's because it's easier for me, bro.
Rich, you always do the 77 thing with the Pentagon, which I think is great because it's an undeniable example. But why instead of here's what you always do, but you're like, but I don't do the gematria, but I don't like to do that. Why not just say what makes it more interesting is in gematria, if you spell out the word September 11th, it equals 77. World Trade Center 77. United States 77, Secret Society 77. In the time that I just said that, you spend
you
more
read?
time explaining why you don't like Gematria. You do it every time. I'm just like, it's so weird for Rich to be so passionate about this. In every interview he does, he says, I don't like Gematria to do Gematria. I let Zach do that. I'm just like, it's just so
Have
weird.
you read my 9/11? Does it not say World Trade Center equals 77?
I know, but just say that in the interviews. You do the same thing every time. Rich, I'm just trying to give you real feedback that I think will be helpful for what you're trying
Zach,
to achieve.
I'm not against your feedback. I just don't want you to cut me down every fucking time. You know, I don't
mean to be
have.
cutting you down. Here's part of my problem, you guys. I am not nice, and I probably am too critical. I probably take just after my mom, because this is how it was when I was growing up too. Anytime I tried to do something, it was never good enough for my mom. And if I did a good job, she wouldn't say that, but she'd say, it needs to be exactly this good next time too. I'd be like, can I just hear like, good job?
Do you realize your intelligence?
Rich, like I said, I super appreciate you. I do just want to do a little bit better job, though. I got to be honest.
Do you realize that your memory level and your intelligence is 100 times greater than mine?
Rich,
when it
you
comes
got it
to
too. Rich, you got it too. But I'm just saying, man. Look, if you want to continue to do it the way you're exactly doing it, I'll forever be grateful enough for that. It is already good enough. You're doing more than almost anybody else is. It's just, I know you want to get it out there, and I think if you just did a couple things a little bit different, it would actually be a lot more effective.
Look, bro,
and better. That's all.
Look, I'm gonna Can I sum it up? I take the easiest hanging fruit of stuff I have memorized that I've said a million times. I don't have every current event memorized. I listen to it and I sponge it and absorb it. But that doesn't mean I can just the next day have it all memorized and explain it and present it. So I stick with new people because they don't know any of it, whether it's current or old. It doesn't. If I show them 9/11, if I show them the rigged Super Bowl, if I show them LeBron James breaking the scoring title, I think they might subscribe to your channel and listen to your vast knowledge now. Does that make any sense?
It does, Rich, and I totally appreciate that, and that's why I'm forever grateful for you. And again, I know that you have a lot to deal with in life, and you're still putting a lot of time and energy into this, which is awesome, because almost nobody in the world is helping out.
I listen to your videos, although I'm getting hernia surgery, but that doesn't mean I have time to now take notes on this topic and do what I usually would do at those old rituals, because I'm sitting here getting a hernia surgery yesterday.
Okay,
and I'm sitting here working.
Fair enough.
You know.
Okay, so the lesson here is again, this is why you can never judge other people, because you don't exactly know their situation. And I'm aware of Rich's situation, but nowhere near as well as he is. And I didn't know he had these other things going on in his life this week. So thank you for making the time to do the interview. Just Rich, seriously though, if you can, in the next interview, just like, okay, I want to grab something from the last week that's awesome. Just 3 bullet points.
Fair enough.
And then I can get back into my regular routine. I think for the next interview, if you can do that, it'll go even better.
Fair enough. And it just, please don't say, oh, he was just talking about the shirt. When I said many times it's to make people, I explain more than the shirt, bro.
It is funny, Rich.
You know what? I'll never wear the shirt again. How about that, Zach? I'll throw it in the dumpster. Fuck the shirt. I'll throw it in the dumpster,
hey, Rich,
bro.
The shirt you've made is the best shirt for Gematria Effect News. It stands out. It looks beautiful. It's high quality. I've had mine forever. It still looks as good as the day I got it. Maybe it has a slight fade in the black, but I've washed it a gazillion times. I've had it for years.
Yeah. You turn it inside out. But Zach, exactly. I was trying to explain to him the history of when I first found your if you listen to the whole thing, the history of when I found your channel, when you had me glued, I started making pages. I made the shirts. I was making group chats. It was all blended in with why I do what I do, man. I didn't make it about the shirt like you were describing. You know what I mean? And that,
I didn't get to listen to the full answer, but once you got into the shirt,
I know you did.
Really, I was like, I got to get on. I can't let Jesse get away with what he did to Rich, because again, Rich, I already know that he doesn't like my work. Rich,
I'm used to those questions. Let me cut you off. I'm used to those questions like that. No matter if it's Jesse or other new people, you already know this. You get the same tired questions from new people. I was being a good sport and just trying to paint a picture to him and answer the questions, mostly for his audience, bro. Plus, I couldn't hear some of the body language because he was cutting out most of the time. But when I talked, it was clear, supposedly.
Yeah.
But thank you for your criticisms. Everyone deserves them. But like, I just do things my way. I don't have your memory bank, bro. I always tell people, and excuse my voice, I'm a little hoarse, but I always tell people you're a machine.
Hold on. Rich, I got to ask. Okay, the Trump assassination. What's just the first thing that comes to your head about the Trump assassination right now?
Totally staged. He used a gig to cut his ear. It was faked. It's part of the agenda. Other than that, I listened to your videos. I sponged it, but I don't have anything memorized. I don't have any number patterns memorized.
Fair enough.
I mean, I was getting surgery just yesterday.
All the 78. We've been talking about 78 ever since forever.
But since I was getting surgery yesterday is when you brought it up too. But I didn't absorb it all, bro. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, fair enough. Rich,
One last thing. Okay. Back when I learned all the stuff I do have memorized, do you know how I did all that? By taking the notes, typing it out multiple times, presenting it to people multiple times, and then I came up with my own words. So like I can almost say the whole coronavirus ritual, what I typed out, what he shared on there later that you probably didn't see, the Kobe, I say it in my own words because I've typed it out many times and made links out of them. With something that you present to us last week, I haven't done that yet. And I only really do major events because that's what new people.
This is a major event, the Trump thing. I'd say this is pretty major.
It is. And you know what? Just for you, I'm going to listen to all your videos on it. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to make a story out of it like I have the others.
78 is probably a good starting point for the Butler shooting. Again, 78 days after Melania's birthday with the whole Stormy Daniels, 78 and just everything. I mean, you know that's going to be part of the narrative. Someday that'll be.
And I don't doubt that at all. I haven't been able to put it together in my brain because I probably listened to your video once when I was going to sleep before surgery. But it's not like just because I don't listen to the video because I was getting surgery or didn't have time or I was working or watching my grandkids. I can look at the title of your video, not even listen, and I know what's going on. I don't need to watch your video to know what's going on because you've taught me so much. So yeah, I don't have everything typed into a story yet. And I think now that you understand that.
All right, Rich, you know what? Thank you. Just thank you for always dedicating all the time and energy and helping getting the word out there. And even in a busy week like this week with everything you got going, making time. But again, if you ever can in the future, just get 3 bullet points down for something big that recently happened. It would be nice to hit them with something
current
rather than the last. Right.
I will do that. But again, there's a billion people out there that don't know the stuff we've talked about a million times. So our job's never complete. Right?
Indeed.
So what's wrong?
Indeed.
So what's wrong with me? You showed me Sandy Spoons. You showed me 9/11. You showed me the rigged Super Bowls long time ago. What's wrong with those new people learning from the beginning? Learning from the beginning.
Rich,
let me finish.
Rich,
learning from the beginning.
But Rich, the point I'm trying to make is just remember, we have a network of trolls who are always watching and screen recording everything and trying to hate and put together compilation videos to make the work look bad. Rich, go back and watch how you answered today when he asked you what the purpose of the work is and see if that couldn't be used in some little troll video.
I will. I will.
All they are is a bunch of grifters and I mean.
If he uploads it, I will go back and watch. Absolutely. And also,
he took the video down? He took the video down?
I don't know. It takes time to upload, right?
Okay.
So yeah, he might have ended up. I hope he plays it because it ain't about him. It ain't about me. It's about the people, so he shouldn't. If he doesn't upload it, I'm going to have something to say to him. But, all the people I teach are new and they deserve to learn from the beginning, just like I did, So there's nothing wrong with showing them the low hanging fruit. It's the easiest way to show them, man. But I get
Yeah.
it. I will work on current events better. I will take note of things you said, no problem. I just want you to sometimes understand the full story instead of just the 10 seconds
Rich,
that you were in
I
there.
get it, but again, here's something I think that you should do in the future. Instead of, because you say it every time, you're like, I don't like to do gematria, which is just anyone's like, wait a minute, I thought he was promoting that. He doesn't like to do it. I'm confused. If instead you just say, I don't do a whole lot of gematria, I keep it more minimal, but I'm more into like the number pattern and then just like how a simple gematria brings it all together, like your September 11th one. I just feel like that. Then the audience be like, oh yeah, I get it. Because yeah, you see all those weird 77s. You're like, wow, and gematria September 11th equals 77 too, huh? Again,
I couldn't
I've never
agree
heard you
more,
say it
Zach.
that way, but I've watched you do it 1,000 times now where you're like 77 and it's like, but I don't do the gematria. I'm like, well, why not? Why not give them the 77 September 11th rather
Well,
than say I
like
don't do the
it's because
gematria?
people just they never fucking seem to get it for some reason, man. So I gave up on it. Like,
Okay, all right, all right.
I mean, we've had this
But if that's
talk.
the
I mean,
mentality too, it's like, why keep pushing the word? Anyway, Rich,
I
I gotta hop
I
off because I
can't
gotta do dinner.
explain it.
But
Yeah, I
all right,
can't
yeah, I can't
explain
explain
that
it either.
part good. Sorry.
All right, it's okay, Rich. But thank you again. Thank you for dedicating all your time and energy. You do help get out the word, and keep on doing it, man. Thank you again.
Yep. Thanks for hearing me out as well, Zach.
All right, take care, Rich.
Yep.
Um, Life is so interesting. We had somebody else just hop in here right now. Mastermind. Mastermind, you better not be. You guys, sometimes you got to close your eyes when I let a new person in because you just never know when it's one of the weirdo trolls and then they're going to expose their camera with their genitals out here. We've had it happen a couple times now. Mastermind, just because I don't recognize you being in here before and I don't know. You could be a normal guy or you could be. I always wonder with the trolls. What do you think? Should we try out Mastermind? I just worry it's going to be some troll trying to sabotage the stream. Mastermind. All right, we'll try him out real quick. All right, Mastermind. I hope you're not a troll. What's going on, Mastermind? Oh, they got off that fast. Probably were a troll. Um. Yeah. Anyway, it's just like I wish there were more people in the world that had the passion or Rich to get out the work, but Rich, he has the passion, but then every time he's just confusing. He's like, it's just like he said right there. He's like, every time I try to teach real gematria, they don't even listen. So I was like, well, then that's this world, man. This is the Twilight Zone. Mastermind came back in. I'll give him one more shot. Mastermind, are you a real person?
Yo,
Hello? Yo, what's up?
yo,
You cut out a little bit. What's up?
yo, you can hear me?
Now I can.
Yo, what's good, Zach? Nah, I ain't no troll, bro.
All right, I'm
Nah,
glad you're not a troll. What's up?
bro, I was just cause I've been following what you've been saying about this shit, bro. The whole 78 with the Trump shit, bro. And today I was just looking. I know this ain't the sports show. I'm your Patreon, but I just wanted to tell you this real quick. I don't know if you've seen it. New York Liberty and Connecticut playing today in WNBA. And
Right.
if you just look at it real quick, it's just funny as hell, bro. Because I think it was the shooter, the shooter that tried to go at Trump. Apparently, he had that 195 connection, right? Didn't he? And
The shooting was on the 195th day of the year. The guy who
yep,
got supposedly killed, his name was 195.
yep. And look at Connecticut record. I ain't gotta say it. I know you see it.
I do see what you're saying. The other thing I see though is
Yeah,
that if the
and
Liberty
Trump
win, they're going
being
to be
from
21-4, and the shooting was 214 days. There's a lot of 214 in the shooting as well. But yeah, that is interesting.
yeah, and then it was just funny because at the like right before the half had ended. they had made a timeout, like a weird timeout, just so they can keep the score at 38-45, and it was just crazy. And you see New York Liberty, they still stuck on that 45 right now. Trump
Remember, Church
45th
of
president.
Satan's 214, and Obama had the joke on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday that he'd be number 45 days before his birthday, and he is from New York, so that also stands out.
Hell yeah, man. But I'm gonna get with you on the Patreon tomorrow, man. If y'all ain't in that Patreon, y'all need to get in there, man, because we be killing it, bro. Zach been calling this shit for years. I've been riding with you, Zach, and I just appreciate all the shit you done showed, and keep doing the good work.
What he's talking about is what I used to do back in the day. These days, man, I lost my jump shot, but Sundays are better than others, that's for sure. So,
but the
anyway,
thing is, even when we off shit, we right on, because we be calling it out so perfect and right on.
Sure, it'll be like we think the team's going to go 4-1 versus the opponent for the year, and then somehow they lose 4-1, and it's like, okay, well, we knew it was about the 41, but they're going that way with it, huh? All right.
Yeah, man. But yeah, bro, I'm gonna get up with you tomorrow on the Patreon, man. Good work, man.
All right. Good luck. You have a good day. Thank you again, Sarah Sutherland. Always sneaking in there with the generosity. Appreciate that. And thank you to Vinny. He said, how passionate and frustrated you get should it be enough proof that you're right as it is? Well, there's people who are passionate that are definitely wrong, but again, I mean, I've been passionate and putting this out every day and proving my point in spades, and it's just, see all these fakes and phonies and frauds just never really bringing anything interesting to the table. Same rhetoric for every story. It's just like, still haven't figured it out. Somehow they're commanding the audiences. It's like people just gravitate towards mediocrity. Hello, Taylor Swift. It's like, you think, maybe it's not the best example. I was going to say, but it is true. I was about to say, you think Taylor Swift can sing even a fraction as good as any of the 4 girls in En Vogue? I mean, not even close. Every girl of En Vogue would mop the floor with Taylor Swift. And are any of the girls from En Vogue a fraction as famous as Taylor Swift? One of them is like broke as hell. Taylor Swift makes more money in an hour than she made her whole career because she got screwed by record deals. But yeah, somehow Taylor Swift's this big name. I mean, people know who En Vogue is. Of course, they had some huge songs in the 90s before they broke up, but those girls can really sing, I mean, they're like mega talents and they're a quartet. But hold on, my mom wants to call in. Hold on. What's going on? Every time I go to pick up the phone, it just hangs up. If you're trying to talk to me, Mom, you can call back, but I thought maybe my mom wanted to sing to us. Thank you, though, Boo Radley, for the 10 British pounds. That goes further than 10 US dollars. I appreciate that. Quite generous. And Delta Dan became a member. All right, Delta Dan. But yeah, it's just, I mean, Taylor Swift, it's just crazy. Like, she's this mega star. It's like, what's so great about Taylor Swift? I'm not saying she can't sing, but I mean, what's so special about her? She has like some great vocal range. What's a great Taylor Swift song? I get annoyed now when I flip through the station. There's this song where it like sounds like she's on antidepressants singing about a Fortnite. What does this do? Appeal to all the video game kids? It's the hot video games. Now the hot songs, Fortnite. It's like mumbled, depressing. Again, I mean, like what is Taylor Swift even singing about? What positive message is there? How come mothers aren't like flying their little girls all around to hear En Vogue sing? At least En Vogue's message. I mean, that's the thing about En Vogue too. En Vogue had big songs on the radio. That's message was pretty much on point. I mean, if everybody listened to music like En Vogue still, I think it'd be a better society too. And En Vogue's message was classy. It was right. It wasn't telling you all this bad shit. Destiny's Child. I mean, what sold more records? I'm pretty sure Destiny's Child sold a lot more records than En Vogue. And is that deserved? Is Beyonce really the queen bee? I'm not sure Beyonce can sing better than any of the girls in En Vogue. Jay-Z's certainly not the greatest rapper of all time. He wasn't even famous in the golden era of hip-hop. He got famous at the end of the 90s with his Blueprint album for Rockefeller Records coming out the day 9/11 happened, when the Rockefellers built those towers. You can see who the controlled ones are. Kobe gets sacrificed the day Beyonce's winning her record Grammy by the numbers in the same building that Kobe played in. But yeah, again, it just sucks that we live in a world where mediocrity rules and like real talent always gets I shouldn't say always, a lot of times just get ignored, neglected, not paid attention to. Shouldn't be that way. People just worship this mediocrity because the mainstream sells it to them, like Donald Trump. Here, we give you Donald Trump to worship. We give you Taylor Swift. Come on, buy her record. Didn't you see it's a record seller? It's an amazing album. Didn't you read our reviews? The New York Times? Like, what's this music doing for me? What's she singing about? I don't care about these songs. They're stupid. Don't even sound good. I'll just put on In Vogue, Hold On from the 90s. I'll just play that on repeat over any Taylor Swift song. And I'm not wrong either. People might say it's opinion. Bullshit. En Vogue. Better lyrics, way better singers, and music that actually sounds damn good. Fortnite. What a weak-ass song. Next. Why is this song on every radio? The song sucks. Anyway. Yeah, this world, man. This world. So... And yeah, just how rigged it all is, too. Literally, your rigged-ass NFL season that gets softer and softer every year, literally scripted in tune with Taylor Swift, as we documented all year, from the beginning of the year to the end. Taylor Allison Swift, 104, all of a sudden part of the 104th NFL season when Swift equals 58. The year it ends with Super Bowl 58. I mean, it's how big of a joke it is what we live in. Everyone just being tricked into worshiping what they show you as greatness. Here, he's the greatest quarterback ever because we scripted it that way. How many people can we get to believe our bullshit? Taylor Swift is this amazing musician. How many people can we get to believe that bullshit? Sorry, there's nothing amazing about this music. Here, tell me what great lyrics she wrote down. What are the great lyrics and great message that young girls can aspire to from Taylor Swift songs? Yeah, and they're doing rituals over in France, and yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now, you guys. Got to wrap it up. And again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Until next time, True Seeker.